During the GameCube era, Nintendo was a lot more experimental. Mario got a water jetpack, Zelda looked like this, and Metroid became a first-person shooter. They were definitely more willing to take risks during this time. I mean, just look at Chibi-Robo, for example. Regardless of how poorly they sold, this series saw a pretty consistent release schedule throughout the 2000s, but then nothing. 5 years had passed and Chibi-Robo had gone silent. The 2010s would see a completely new Nintendo, one that was less open to experimentation. The gray era, as I like to call it. They were now more interested in games that were guaranteed to sell, like Mario, Zelda, and this, apparently. Instead of gambling on a series that had yet to prove itself. The last time anyone outside of Japan had even heard from Chibi-Robo was with Park Patrol all the way back in 2007. This really did seem like it was the end for this little robot, but then, seemingly out of nowhere, Chibi-Robo was back and returning to North America, no less. Now, I wasn't necessarily a fan of the series at the time, but I do vividly remember this announcement, and I couldn't care less. And I mean, can you blame me? This game reeked of a throwaway eShop title. From what they showed, it just looked like a game where you take pictures of real-life objects and watch Chibi-Robo interact with them. It also didn't help that this game was announced at the same direct where Rosalina was revealed as a new Smash fighter. Not only was the game itself underwhelming, it was completely overshadowed by much bigger announcements. But you know what? I'm being unfair to this game. I mean, every entry in the series so far has managed to surpass my expectations, so maybe this game will be a similar situation. Only one way to find out. We start in a dark hallway. Most of the Chibi-Robo games and having a creepy ass intro. We then get introduced to the main cast of this game. We've got Telly, who's a phone now, I guess. And we've got...
No, no flanks, one.
Oh my god. Meet the Curator, also known as the best worst character in the entire series. Like, he's such a boring character, but just look at him. I honestly can't decide if I love him or hate him. But he apparently purchased us to help start up a museum. This museum will be displaying what are called Nostalgia, which are basically various items from the past. It's our job to go out and collect these items to be displayed as exhibits. So how do we get Nostalgia? Well, first you need to purchase a silhouette of an object. This will allow you to snap a picture of something that matches the shape of that silhouette. Chibi-Robo will then time travel to collect the object and bring it back. Yeah, apparently this game takes place in the distant future where these objects no longer exist, which just brings up a lot of questions. Like, one of the items is a roll of toilet paper. What the hell do they wipe their ass with in the future then? The whole game is based around the 3DS's AR capabilities, and it's honestly kinda cool to see real-world objects appear in the game. Well, it would be cool if the 3DS's camera wasn't absolute garbage. Alright, I want you to take a good hard look at this and tell me what you think it is. Burnt marshmallow? A piece of chocolate maybe? Nope, it's toilet paper. I'm no camera expert, but I do know lighting is everything when it comes to photography. But every picture you take with the 3DS's camera will end up looking like a dark, grainy mess unless you have the most ideal lighting conditions. I had to play most of this game while holding a flashlight in one hand and my 3DS in the other just to get a decent photo, and this was in a well-lit room. The camera is just unusable, and I think you can see how that would be a problem in a game that's centered around using it. The terrible camera isn't the only problem though. If you thought Pokemon Snap's ranking system was confusing, oh boy, you ain't seen nothing yet. From what I can tell, it tries to judge how close to the silhouette you are, but at the same time, it seems completely random. Like, why did this work? Thankfully though, you only need to get 60% to get a successful picture, so it's not that bad, but it still seems pretty inconsistent. But that's not even the worst part. Most of these silhouettes are pretty easy to figure out, but like, what the hell is this supposed to be? Seriously, pause the video and tell me what you think it is in the comments. I'm actually really curious. Well, at first I thought it was a tombstone? I don't know, But no, it's a tea bag. I mean, obviously, right? How about this one? I thought it looked like Garfield's head, so I took a picture of that and hey, it worked. But it was actually looking for sushi. Fucking sushi. This is just an oval. How the hell was I supposed to figure that out? While the photo taking mechanic is pretty flawed, it's thankfully not the entire experience. Like I said before, we need to purchase silhouettes in order to take pictures. You can purchase them using happy points, and you get happy points by doing side quests for various characters. This is where Photo Finder actually starts to feel like a proper Chibi-Robo game. From time to time, you'll get emails from a variety of toys asking for help. You'll then play a mini game and receive happy points depending on how well you did. These can honestly be pretty fun. You'll be doing things like estimating a specific length, playing hide and seek, and training with Drake fucking Redcrest, baby! Yeah, Drake Redcrest is back from the first Chibi-Robo. It's pretty cool that he's here, but he highlights my biggest issue with this game. See, here he is in the original, and here he is in Photo Finder. While in the first game he looked a little... yeah... there was just so much personality packed into this design. But now he looks like a generic Power Ranger or something. They went with a more realistic art style this time. It does look pretty impressive for a 3DS game, however, it sacrifices pretty much everything that made the original game so charming. Skip has this very iconic art style. It's a big part of what makes Chibi-Robo, Chibi-Robo. It wasn't until this game took it away that I realized how important it was to the series. It's not just the art style though, it's a lot of small changes as well that makes this game feel kind of like an empty husk of a Chibi-Robo game. Like, take this clip of Chibi-Robo walking in the first game for example. Then compare that with Photo Finder. See what I mean? This game just feels soulless. It's even more jarring when it tries to emulate the previous games with these exploration sections. Here you can clean various areas just like you did before, but again, compare this to this. They seriously sucked all of the charm out of the series. But why such a drastic change in direction? Well, all you have to do is look through the credits to get that answer. If you saw my video on Park Patrol, you might remember that I brought up this guy. He was one of the directors from the first game and was the only person to stick with the series until Clean Sweep. But after he finished that game, he left Skip to go pursue other projects. He was the last remaining member of the original Chibi-Robo team, and with him gone, the original vision for the series was gone as well. So a new team was assembled to handle this game, and it's pretty obvious that they didn't understand what made Chibi-Robo so appealing. To be fair, Photo Finder isn't all bad. Like I said before, the AR gimmick can be pretty cool and some of the minigames are enjoyable. However, the coolest part of the game is actually something I can't show you. When the game launched, Nintendo held in-game contests and gave out some pretty cool prizes. Apparently each contest was centered around a specific silhouette. You'd submit a photo, then Nintendo would pick the most creative entries to be voted on by the players. In America, the prizes were exclusive costumes for Chibi-Robo to wear, and as far as I can tell, these are kind of lost media now. I can't find any pictures or video of these costumes, which is kind of a shame. But Japan got the much cooler reward. Apparently for one of their contests, they gave out a custom Wii U with a decal on it that featured the winner's name. This is such a cool prize to give out for a contest like this. But just like the costumes given out in North America, I can't find much information on it. I'd love to know where this Wii U is now, but sadly, due to how obscure Photo Finder is, we'll probably never know. Overall, Photo Finder has an interesting concept, but my god is it soulless. This game removed pretty much everything that made the series iconic. It really didn't need to be a Chibi-Robo game, but I guess they were hoping that the Chibi-Robo brand would help sell the game? I don't know. This is unfortunately the start of Chibi-Robo's downfall, and it would only get worse from here. Because, as I'm sure you're all already aware, the next game would be the infamous Chibi-Robo Ziplash. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the final part of my Chibi-Robo retrospect. And if you missed the previous video, feel free to get caught up with this fancy playlist I made while you wait for the next one to be finished. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.